Hi, I want to introduce you to my new book called How to Make Your Bar PA Kick Butt. I wrote this a while back because the secret to great live sound mixes rely heavily on a properly set up sound system. Mixing on a system that is properly set up places you on the creative side of the mixing board, and I'm telling you, there is no better place to be. Mixing on a poorly set up sound system places you on the diagnostic side of the mixing board, and it opens you up to a ton of possible issues that may be out of your control during the show. I have seen it many times, and there are many things that the mixing board just cannot solve. Let me show you the topics that I cover in this book. Chapter 1 is Time is Up, 3 Best Steps. I start the chapter off with giving the reader something to try out immediately at their next show. Don't get me wrong, there are a dozen of other things that will eventually need to be verified, but if you are out of time and you need something to try at your next gig, I go through how you could take a good recording of a song and play it through the PA system to get an idea how your system sounds. You can then compare that sound with some headphones that have a good known frequency response. You then adjust the left, right, main EQ on the console or external outboard EQ to make the system sound more like what you hear in your headphones. The song you use and the headphone you use act as a guide or a reference for you for each system you mix on or for each room you go into. It takes practice, but in no time you will get pretty good at this. Chapter 2 is on examination and verification of all the parts plus polarity. This is where we take a step back and we start to dive into the nitty-gritty of your sound system and all the cabling that you use. Every cable needs to be tested for proper functionality and polarity. All it takes is for one single cable to have the pin 2 and 3 reversed, going to a horn driver, for example, or even a subwoofer, to cause destructive interference. Your mixing board isn't going to fix that, especially during a show. Every speaker needs to have a matching counterpart. For example, the main top speakers you use should be a matching left and right speaker. The horn drivers need to be matching, and the mid-woofers need to be matching, and preferably to factory specs. If this isn't the case, this book will still be very helpful for you to make the best of what you have. The next chapter on polarity, it gets its own dedicated chapter. In this situation, I am talking about speaker polarity and not mixing console channel input polarity. That is a different topic and still very important, but left and right polarity differences are very destructive, so we want to make sure that we have those corrected. Chapter 4 is on setting up the crossover. This will be pretty important for those who own an older system where they are using passive speaker boxes and amp racks along with a crossover device or DSP. Knowing how to set that up can really help with the system sounding more seamless, more as if all the individual speakers are combining to sound like it's one giant speaker. Chapter 5 on gain structure. There are 2 types of gain structure. There's mixing console gain structure and there is sound system gain structure. They go hand in hand, but in this book, I focus on the system gain structure. Basically, this is where you calibrate your system so that when your mixer says that you are at the clip point, you can have confidence that all the gear in the chain is at its clip point as well. There will be no need to stare at those amp lights anymore. Chapter 6 is on balancing and tuning the sound system. I go over several methods to achieve this, and the standard in audio is to use known sources for reference, like pink noise or good recorded music with headphones that have a known flat frequency response. In Chapter 7, I go over how to use an auto EQ wizard to get a result and then transfer those findings over to parametric EQs. Many people a while back were using the auto EQ wizard. They were going into rooms, hitting the pink noise button, letting the thing run, letting it finish, getting the result, and then saving those changes, when that is entirely the wrong way to do that. So I go over how you could use the results that you get, but then you transfer those to parametric EQs and then zero out the EQ wizard and get a much better result. Chapter 8 is on dual FFT, which is dual fast Fourier transform. The program that I use is Smart by Rational Acoustics, and I show you how to download the 30-day demo and take a peek at your sound system in real time to see what it is doing. This may sound complicated, but by the time you work through the book, it will make a lot more sense. This book is loaded with information to help you get your system to the best of its ability. I spent years digging in and researching and have condensed my take on sound system optimization down to around 120 pages. Of course, this topic is never ending and it will probably take a lifetime to get really good at it. Okay guys, I love the mixing aspect of doing shows. I also love talking about mixing and going over tips and tricks, but the hard truth is you can't mix your way out of a poorly set up PA system. I have tried it and it doesn't work out very well. Get yourself prepared for your next show and pick up this book. I guarantee your mixes will sound better and you will be on the creative side of your mixer. It will be a blast. I currently have this book on Amazon right now for $15.99 and it is a paperback book. I also have the eBook version for $9.99. I even did an eBook on When Time Is Up, 3 Best Steps for $2.99. We're all going through some crazy times at the moment, so what I would like to do is reduce the paperback book to $9.99, the ebook version to $2.99, and When Time Is Up, 3 Best Steps ebook to 99 cents. I really hope this helps, and I will be back soon with some more videos. Thank you so much.